Good morning, everybody. Before we start the topic, just watch these clips. Have you ever seen a caterpillar drinking water? Have you seen an egg of a butterfly? That's an egg. Now you see this caterpillar eating a leaf. Now, this is a 5 mark question in schools. Maybe when you are fifth standard or even lesser these days. Can anybody name this process? What is this called as? Anybody? Anybody remember this process? We have been taught this in school.
Metamorphosis, sir.
Yes, very good. Who is this?
Kritika, sir. Namaste.
Wonderful, madam. Super. நீங்க பாஸ் ஆயிட்டீங்க.
Thank you.
So very few people even remember these things. We have been taught this in school. It's a 5 mark question. It's a very important question. Repeatedly asked question. Everything is right. But what is that it teaches us? What do we learn from this? What are we supposed to learn from this? They have taught the process, not the philosophy. See, this is a worm become an insect. Caterpillar becomes butterfly, and it is called metamorphosis. Yes. Now, what is the main question is, it's a caterpillar and it is two sensed. It has a main task, eating and drinking, and it has a mission going on. The mission is it has to gain one more sense, and then it has to taste the sweet nectar. That's the mission going on. And how does it achieve the mission? It eats the leaf like there is no tomorrow. It is never eaten. Of course, it is never eaten because it is just born. And fast later, like there is no food available. But you know what? This process, if you eat and sleep in a cage, you will become an insect. Who told them this secret? How does that worm know that? Is that wisdom inbuilt for all the living beings? Or only these caterpillars know that? Or who designed this kind of process? How this process is actually there? Now, on the other end, you look at this butterfly. It is three sensed. It has gained one sense. Mission accomplished. And what is main task? Drinking nectar from the flowers. There is no other work. The caterpillar cannot drink the nectar. It can only eat the leaf. First of all, wherever the caterpillar was, whether nectar was there or not, we do not know. And the caterpillar cannot enter the flower. Now, this butterfly can sit on a flower without disturbing the flower and drink its nectar. It can fly. The worm cannot even run. This butterfly can fly. And there is one more task for the butterfly. People use this butterfly flying in their stomach whenever they have some difficult times. I don't know how it will be a good comparison, but That's the mission all the butterflies do. And there is a mission what it is doing. Enjoy the life and lay eggs from which whoever comes does the same life. Eat nicely, go to sleep, get up and fly. That's all. This is their mission, what they are going on. And for this, they have to find a soulmate and again lay eggs. That's all. But who taught this insect about the complex process? How does it know where it has to lay the eggs? It lays one egg on one leaf beneath the leaf. In fact, when we were small, me and my brother, we used to go and study with an entomologist in our colony. And he is an open book and he is a big book. So we can ask anything and he will have an answer. And he showed us how butterflies actually lay the egg. We saw the live thing and we were observing the eggs for a few days, but those eggs did not hatch. We saw the live of butterfly laying its egg. I don't think even most biology teachers have seen this live, but it is a normal process happening. You just have to follow the butterfly wherever it sits. Sometime it eats, sometime it lays, but both are in education. And did you notice the worm has become an insect? Before I told you this, the worm is different class of biology. Insects are different class of biology. Entomologist is a person who studies insects. Insects have 6 legs. They have compound eyes. They have exoskeleton. There are some things about insect, right? These insects have this property different from the worm. But how does it happen? And what about the calories here? Can we call the expert to calculate what happened here? Now, few days inside the cage, how did an organism transfer from one species to another species? What is happening here? Do you think the calories what it had is sufficient? I don't know. But is it worth to check all the calories is what is the question. Because these kind of processes cannot be explained with our limited gross scientific application. To be more subtle in science will definitely lead to the philosophy, which scientists are slowly starting. Now, fasting is what we're going to see today. From philosophy, we're coming into some therapy. The philosophy will start again later. What is fasting? Fasting is voluntarily you abstain from taking food, solid food, and you can consume liquids which are naturally made and which are known to give health benefits. Alcohol is liquid? No, we don't recommend them. Tea, coffee is liquid? No, we don't recommend them. This carbonated, colored, chemical drinks kind of things are there. We don't recommend them. We don't recommend artificial things. We don't recommend things which is not helpful in health improvement. It is only things like water, fruit juices, honey water, honey, maybe sometimes some herbal decoction, that too which are not completely medicinal quality, also have a food quality at least a food additive, and then made some decoction with that. So that is the only food choice what we have. No solids. And this is voluntarily telling no for food. And during this time, the lifestyle should be more natural as much as possible. Rest is compulsory, not to involve in daily activities regarding the profession or things which will not give you a rest to the body and mind and the physiology of the body. During this fasting, between with nature, conserve the vital force. See, the above all things we have done, and the intention of doing all those things is conserve vitality. And why do we have to conserve vitality? See, there is one rule or a basic principle in nature cure. Fasting does not cure disease, but help the body gain the energy to do what is needful for improving the disease to a better health condition. Okay. So we conserve vitality. Now, what is vitality? It is a life force which you have with you in a limited quantity. Daily, you can refill the vitality to a certain extent, but not to the same extent as the previous day. Your ability to conserve or gain vitality will reduce every single day. What do we do during our life, during the day, during the night, during everything else, decides how much of our capacity is reducing. If you learn the tactics to conserve vitality to a maximum extent, you can reduce aging. Now, all the biological process, for example, we breathe, we inhale oxygen. In the sense, at a cellular level, we take oxygen, leave carbon dioxide. This process is metabolism. The more metabolism happens, the more we demand, the more we require, our aging is faster. We reduce the metabolism, but not accumulating metabolic waste or not pending the metabolic activities, but we reduce the requirement of the metabolic activities. We conserve vitality. This is a very important point. If you didn't understand, please rewind and listen. This vitality conserved will help all the vital organs and the important cleansing activity of the body to happen in a better way and simple and smoothly, like how this worm actually made its pupa. You know, it shed its skin. It had so many legs. It shed its skin. There are no legs. It took the shape of the butterfly. This vitality is going to do what is required smoothly. No problem at all. And therapeutically, we recommend fruit juices for fasting, but in nature, for all the animals, fasting means either no food at all, including water, or sometimes water. That is fasting in nature. Therapeutically, we modify it because to do a fasting with only water, your body has to be already healthy normally, and for some reason you have some difficulty either in your body or mind, then you can do water fasting. It is helpful. These days, we eat whatever we see. We don't even know whether it is a food or not. We eat whatever is sold. In this condition, water fasting is not going to be a great help because The body is now having a lot of stock of unwanted, unnatural things which the body does not know to process at all times and at all energy levels. So, better is fruit juice. This is our experience. So, the core naturopathy principle may say water, but we just modify, we compromise the principle and try to suit the present day needs. And there are some rules you should know in fasting. It is compulsory. Say, when you follow a fruit diet or the diet, whatever I have told in the document earlier, the health document, what I have shared, if you follow those things, here and there, break the rules are okay if you do not have any serious disease. But when you come to fasting, the rules become more compulsory. It's not an option. You have to follow. Why? Otherwise, you are breaking the protocol. The consequences may change. See, we're doing this for a consequence. That consequence is positive, so we are happy. But if we don't do it properly, the consequence will not be positive completely. It can go negative depending upon how much you're deviating from the basic rule or the basic philosophy of what happens in fasting and what you should be doing. So we're not going to see fasting in detail here, but the basic things what you should know to follow fasting. Definitely learn it from an expert. Expert means who has already followed it for himself many times in his life and made others do a fast. See, I'm not telling here only a doctor, but a doctor is supposed to undergo this experience and also guide people. So, as a person who has undergone this requirement of experiencing themselves in a natural way possible and guiding others is an expert. He should be able to handle the body in a way it should be helpful for the patient, and a good thing should happen. Then you are an expert. Please learn from them, not by seeing videos, not by reading some books, unless the books are written by actual experts who has given fasting for hundreds of people. Those kind of people's book are okay, but not otherwise. Not some XYZ writing a book on fasting. Why this is the first point here is, in animal life, fasting has only two ends. One is the animal revives completely and becomes like how it was before, or the animal slowly shuts down its process one by one without any pain or difficulty and shuts down its life completely. These are the two consequences what happens in fasting in animal life. So even for our body, the fasting is only going to have these two results. Either it will revive you completely or it will slowly take off. This was followed by organisms, including human beings, in olden days. Now human beings have stopped, animals continue. This is a way of natural death, but it is done by choice in animals. So when we do without knowing properly what we are doing, if we do not know how to read the symptoms and signs of the body, we don't know whether we are ascending the health with fasting or completing our mission with fasting. Don't get scared. It is not just like that, it's going to happen. But you should be aware that fasting is a natural process, not a man made one. And naturally, it is there for some reason. It is accepting what nature has to give us. You just do what your instinct says, that is not eating. And the nature will take care of it. If the nature wants you to live, you will live much healthier. than the previous day. If nature wants you to vacate, just vacate. Unless you accept this nature in its true sense, you have to be very careful. And what you should do every day during fasting? Consume fruit juices very frequently. Something like 6 to 7 juices per day is what we recommend, which means one juice is approximately 250 ml or 300 ml minimum. It can be even 400 ml or 500 ml, it is okay, but you have to drink a lot of juice in one full day, lot of juices. If you drink juices separately, drinking water may not be required, but you can also drink water, honey water, as per the requirement. If for any reason you feel chills, you feel very cold, the juice or water, whatever you drink, can be little warm. It can be made warm. Even some soups are okay. Some herbal decoctions also are okay. They're also helpful depending upon the disease condition and the disease progress, health progress. It has to be decided by an expert who can deal with it confidently. And definitely, enema should be given twice a day. Why? When we are following natural things, why enema? Enema is artificial. Now, what is enema? Enema is just plain normal drinking water inserted into our anus through an apparatus called enema can. Now this water goes inside, moistens all the dry stools there, stimulates the intestine to push out everything, and brings out all the unwanted fecal matter which are waiting to go out but not yet come out for some reason, any reason. Now, why do we do this? It's artificial. Why do we do this? Same reason why we are shifting from water based fasting to fruit juice fasting. Our body is having unwanted fecal matter and not eliminating it without additional help, which can come out by itself depending upon the fruit juices what we consume, but it is going to take more time and it is going to be creating a lot of difficulty, which we call healing crisis. To avoid the crisis and make fasting a better experience and make fasting achievable till you want the desired thing to happen, we do this. So this makes your cleaning faster and better. So the difficulties are not much. It is really required when the patient is already suffering. This can reduce the suffering by many folds. If a patient is suffering, we can reduce the suffering by many folds. Please remember this. And if somebody is not having any great disease, but they just want to experience fasting, they need not undergo any difficulty like headaches, mood disturbances, dizziness, muscle catch, because some people believe this all things will happen normally. This all things does not happen normally when you're actually healthy. These all things happen because somebody is not healthy. And how to avoid? Use these techniques, you can definitely avoid. Okay. And sun bath here and there whenever it's required, whenever it's you feel to take a sun bath, is really helpful. Sunlight can move the things inside the body. The light energy from the sun, the heat energy from the sun, the chemical rays from the sun can actually trigger a lot of process inside your body. Imagine and understand, sunlight is what is our food. We eat sunlight. Leaves make food with the help of sunlight and air. Water is only a medium to transport and give some molecules, but it is the air and the sunlight which becomes the food. Earth and water is just a medium. Earth becomes the plant, water moves inside the plant, but the actual plant is sunlight and air. The power is from there. The physical structure is earth and water. The power of the plant is from sunlight and air. The more away from the earth it is growing, it has more space capacity in it. The more below the earth or near to the earth it is growing, it has less space but more of earth and water. This is how plants are classified. Remember, we're eating sunlight, and sun bath is very, very helpful. When you are not eating, you automatically become open to consume from air, water, sunlight, space, and earth. From all the five elements, you can start consuming. Go to sun and take a sun bath, you will actually consume some energy. You may not realize it immediately, but it happens, no doubt. And after sun bath, take cold shower. It can be twice, can be thrice if required. If you really feel to take bath, just take a bath. I'm not speaking about the actual bath. No soaps, no shampoo, no chemicals, zero chemicals, no toothpaste. During fasting, no chemicals at all, at any condition, no chemicals, without anything, just bath, just water is enough. Observe your body odor, how it changes, how it reduces, how it modifies, what is the new order coming. Just observe everything. Observe everything, what happens in your body. Rest well, and you have to be happy and cheerful, because only when you are happy and cheerful, the process inside the body can happen faster and better. Okay, the effective fasting is done only when the mood is better. So you should not be like, oh, why did I start fasting? I shouldn't have started this. I want to eat. No, this is not going to help. You should be really cheerful and sleep as early as possible. If sunset is over, 1 hour after that, sleep whenever you want, but sleep early. And the sleep will be reduced during fasting, but be on the bed. Don't get up and roam here and there. Be on the bed in the night time. Walking in the fresh air can improve your health, your sleep, so you can walk a little bit, but don't get up and do some work because you don't feel sleepy. No. Only if you don't do any work at all, your body might sleep. You can even wash your face, wash your legs and hands, even take a shower if required. If you can really handle the chillness at the night, you can definitely do it, because this can bring a good quality of sleep. Fresh air can really bring in good quality of sleep. And always you should be in fresh air, no doubt at all. Old air is going to be very toxic. During fasting, the metabolisms are happening in a very different way. We require everything what we require in fresh and pure way, no doubt at all. And the water what we use for adding in the juices or for drinking should be really clean and fresh. If it is natural source, like a clean river water or a spring water, water from a forest, a waterfalls, or a clean well in the sense, not the things what you normally see in the well are not going to disturb. Like, in village wells, if you see, there will be so many things inside the well. That is not dirty. A clean well, what I'm mentioning here is no chemical influence inside the well. Like somebody has put some chemical underwater, underground water, and that has mixed. No, not that kind of water. Well water is actually very good. So this kind of any water is preferable. But whatever you get is okay. You can just have it. If you happen to have only the bottled water, then what to do? During fasting, it is not very helpful. So what you can do is pour the bottled water into a tumbler or a big vessel. Squeeze few drops of lemon. Now this lemon will provide the water some electrolytes what this water is not having. How many drops you can decide? Just few drops. Okay, that is one way to make the water a little better. Whatever water you get, for example, you got only bottled water, buy an earthen pot, mud pot. If it is new, soak it inside some water so the pot drinks a lot of water and it is seasoned to hold water in a better way. Now, once you have immersed the pot into water for many days, or at least 3 or 4 days, it has drunk a lot of water. Now, in this water, keep a plate beneath, pour the bottled water inside the pot, tie a white cloth around that mud pot, leave it under sunlight and moonlight for some 24 hours or 48 hours. Definitely the water will evaporate, but the water will become definitely better. The cool air at night, the sunlight, the atmosphere is all going to do some changes inside the water. If you are confident, you can even leave the water open. If you make sure there are no animals come and taste it or something. But exposing the water to sun and moon and to the space, sky, by holding it in earthen pot is going to change the quality of water. Definitely, water should be better. Do anything, whatever you can to make it better. And during fasting, everything cannot be mentioned earlier. You cannot be taught fasting just like that and then start fasting. During fasting, you have to be sensitive and change whatever you require to change as per the requirement and the need. Every moment you have to be careful. Every moment you have to be aware and analyze and understand what the body is trying to do and do what the body requires. And you should also know it is very, very, very important you break the fast properly, systematically, very, very gradually, and so smoothly that the food understanding or the food what you consume after fasting is with a great understanding that so that the fasting is retaining its benefit in a very good way. And to have a beautiful experience of fasting, the preparation should be also wonderful. Unless you prepare well for the fasting, you cannot enjoy the fasting. Unless you break the fasting gradually and smoothly, the benefits of fasting will not be sustained. Please keep this in mind. And what you should not do at all, do not indulge in habits which leak your vitality. Most things what we do normally are like that: watching TV, this laptop, mobile, tabs, reading excessively. Reading here and there is okay. See, in fasting you can read, definitely is a good thing, but not too much so that you become tired by reading. Arguing, talking excessively, fighting, undergoing emotional outbreaks by your unwanted involvement. See, you are doing fasting during an emotional outbreak is different. During any mental pain, fasting can be done. That is different. We do that to handle it better. But during fasting, try not to do all these things unnecessarily so that you don't spend your energy unnecessarily, because these all things tax you a lot of energy. Don't involve in sexual excitement or strenuous activity or heavy exercises or being awake at night. No, don't do all these things. And sleep always whenever it's required at night. Do not sleep always, but sleep at night. Don't be awake. During daytime, you have to be little active so that your body is functioning, it is moving things inside. Sitting still is not going to help the body do the functions effectively. During night, sleep. Don't be roaming here and there. Don't be awake and doing some work, how much more important it is. Daytime, you can rest and relax. Sleep only if your health demands you to, if your disease demands you to. Don't sleep because you don't have anything to do. Don't be dull throughout the day. Do not be dull. Do not break the fast suddenly. It won't do the good things. Sometimes it can do more bad things. It depends upon what kind of mistakes you do. But please remember, breaking the fast suddenly is not at all recommended for any reason. And do not let the body become very cool so that the body is not having the minimal warmth what it requires to undergo a process. You can be in a cold environment, or your body may not be able having the ability to produce heat. Whatever it is, that has to be answered and handled immediately. Okay, that balance is required, and you have to be sensitive. Don't be overconfident that fasting, you are going to get one more sense like the caterpillar. That can happen in the fasting, but don't be overconfident. See, the worm knows exact process completely properly without going to school. It knows. We have been to school 12 years. We have been into education after school for 3 to 5 years or 10 years. But nowhere we know how to eat, when not to eat, what not to eat. We were not taught what to do for a headache. No, nobody knows. Is there anybody who knows what to do for a headache? Are we taught? No. When you do not know how to even handle a headache, fasting is too much. Okay, so don't be overconfident. Fasting means extra care, extra alertness, extra awareness, extra sensitivity, so that you realize the changes immediately and do something about it. Okay, in Bible there's a verse where it asks, if I give you a fruit, do you even know to eat it? So we do not know even to eat fruit. That is the real truth. So fasting means don't be overconfident and please be careful. Do not continue regular lifestyle like you going to work, preparing for others' work, doing all the household activities. No, you have to change. Even if you're involved in doing yoga daily, meditation daily, lot of kriyas daily, lot of things if you do also, during fasting, there should be a change in those all things. Because yoga does not recommend fasting, because yoga is about balance. When you do fasting, for some reason, don't do yoga. I mean the asanas, the other things. For example, even some pranayama may create excess hunger, for which the fasting may not be very helpful. So, yoga is also a process. It's a systematic process for achieving something, for an evolution. Fasting is also a similar thing. Don't mix these two because their requirements are different. Their mode of actions are different. At the end of all the yogic achievements, there will be a fasting. When the fasting is done wonderfully, the achievements of yoga can also be experienced, but the pathways are different. Okay, Don't say both are natural and do. Do not do excess yoga. Simple things are okay. Simple deep breathings are okay. Deep pranayamas, which can alter the metabolism of the body. Please be careful. Do not consume medications. It can be bad. Some medications might be given, but this is all therapeutic. This is all medical profession. So, in case of doubt, please consult. During fasting, when you take any medication, the stomach will not have enough food to bear the bad effects of the food. I mean, the medicine. The medicine creates a lot of chemical changes, which a food is required to get that load, get that pressure. So, when there is no food inside, it is not wise. Even doctors don't recommend that. So, please be careful. And what you should do, definitely follow the rules and learn about fasting before doing fasting. Ask only from an expert. And in case of doubt, immediately ask the expert. Make sure the expert is available whenever you can call them, and only then do from away from them. Prepare the body well before fasting and smoothly, gradually finish the fast. That is compulsory to get the best out of fasting. Starting the fast can be abrupt at certain times, like in case of acute illness. That time you don't have to prepare anything. Just start fasting. For example, you went for a dinner, you had a grand feast, and tomorrow morning you're having fever. Don't think of any preparation. Fasting has already started. Body has started the fasting, even if you don't prepare. Start, but immediately call some experts. They should be knowing how to handle fever after a certain mistakes like heavy food or sleepless nights or something like that. Anything which disturbs your body, yes, start fasting, no problem. Combining along with a surrender to nature attitude is really helpful. Is really helpful. Fasting is contraindicated only at one instance, according to my knowledge today. That is poisoning with mercury. Only in that condition, fasting is prohibited, because in fasting, the metabolic waste will reach uh, from the cells to the blood more faster, and it is going to be bad. Okay, so mercurial poisoning, fasting is prohibited. But mercurial poisoning and all, we don't come across very frequently. It is a rare thing. That's why many people even do not know about this, but I'm just telling you, just to know. Okay, so these are the basic things you should know about fasting. And please don't forget, fasting can save your life. I'll tell you one more tip. It is a scientific fact that when your food consumption is less, your so-called immunity is going to be better. Your process of digestion, absorption, conversion of food into your body are all going to be definitely better when you eat less quantity of food than eating high quantity or huge quantities of food. The quality of the food matters, not the quantity, not how much the food can burn. No, we are not a machine to burn the food and get heat and run on that. So less food does good job than more food. Good quality food can do better job than bad food or foods which are assumed to be foods. Okay, so if any doubts, yes, please feel free, unmute yourself, and you could ask some doubts. Anything you'd like to ask? And there is one more thing you can do. You do not have any disease. So how can you incorporate fasting? There will be a day of holiday or a stressful day in your work. Choose any one day as a fasting day. Maybe you can do fasting once a week. Weekly one day, complete fasting. For example, if Sunday is the day you choose to fast, Saturday lunch is only simple thing like just ganji. Or you can even be on fruits Saturday afternoon and dinner. Sunday is fully on juices. Monday breakfast and lunch are only fruits, nothing else. Either Monday dinner you can have some fruits and something like boiled vegetables, maybe a little bit soup, some ganji, if really you cannot live without having something cooked, some ganji. Otherwise, fruits, some soups, and boiled vegetables are fine. Tuesday onwards, you can do normally what you want. So this could be one thing what you can do. When you keep doing this every week, definitely you will avoid some serious illnesses. You will avoid serious illnesses if you do weekly once fasting with the rules what I have mentioned. It definitely help you. Okay, so this is how you can incorporate fasting in daily life. And any questions? During some puja, Shraddha, people will be in fasting and breaking fast with heavy food after this. Yes. Even this intermittent fasting is getting famous these days. See, the morning food what we have is termed breakfast because we are fasting by not eating throughout the night. It's almost 12 hours, and then we're getting up next day morning and we are going to have some food. So they termed it as breakfast. Breaking the fast is not with a heavy meal. Breaking the fast is always with fruit juices. See, political fasts are also broken. How? Does anybody eat idli, dosa, chapati, puri there? They only drink juices. This is how breaking the fast should happen. So the actual methods traditionally people were doing fasting for this rituals and spiritual purposes, religious purposes, were very different. Now people modify to such a level that the purpose of fasting is not fulfilled and they end up having more trouble, but they don't even realize that. These troubles may not come immediately. Please keep in mind. Don't break a fast without a proper, smooth, gradual transition. And because you didn't notice any problem, don't think there is no problem. The problem is inside. This change happens very deeply. So do not break the fast like that. Even most religious fasting these days, for example, why is Sunday a holiday in most of the countries? Because Britishers are ruling there. So what? They basically followed Christianity. In Christianity, Sunday is a holy day, not a holiday. It's a holy day, the seventh day. The seventh day ritual is there in Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. How all these religions had it? Because Judaism had it in the first place. From Judaism came Islam and Christianity. So they follow the basics of Judaism. That is the seventh day concept. Seventh day is a rest day. What is seventh day? The day the God took some rest after creating the world. This is what Christianity says. Now, because God was working 6 days without rest, he is taking some rest on the seventh day. So, what we do on this holy day, we don't involve in work, which means you are not supposed to work on the seventh day. You're not supposed to eat. not supposed to involve in sexual activities. Spend the day in the prayer of God. This is what is the holy day mentioned the traditional textbooks of all the religions. But we don't do. Islam has Friday. The special worship day is Friday. Judaism has on Saturday. Jews are forbidden for doing anything on Saturday. They cannot do anything on Saturday, including cooking, eating, no work, just rest. I have a student who does not appear even for exams on Saturday. She's a Jew. With this permission, she joined the college. She follows it so strictly. She doesn't come for any class on Saturday. She doesn't attend the exams also on Saturday. But now, what's happening in even in Israel. Many Jew communities are not following properly. What they do is, I have some friends from Israel. You know what they do? What they say they do? They have some stoves which can be programmed to cook certain things at a specific time. So they just eat it. They say, no, we didn't cook it. We are not supposed to cook. We didn't cook. See, you can't even have food. But they cheat. Now, many Hindus are doing fasting. How? They do fasting from the sunrise, and after sunset, they do a puja, and they tell, no, puja is over, then the fasting can be broken. And how do they break it? Idli, dosa, chapati, puri. And no, how can you eat this? You are fasting. No, we can't eat rice. Now, what is idli? Are you cheating yourself or God? Have we become so dumb that we understand idli as something not rice? See, rice is an item. It's not a dish alone. Rice is an ingredient. If rice is not to be had, idli dosa is also rice. Wheat is not mentioned in your South Indian scriptures because wheat was not growing in South India. Chapati and puri is not a tiffin. It is not light. North Indians call rice light. South Indians call chapati light. What kind of nonsense is this? Don't cheat yourself. If you don't do fasting, also God will bless you. But if you do wrong fasting, God will still bless you, but the system will not bless you. The consequences will follow, right? So do not break fast like that. For whatever reason you're doing fasting, body does not know the reason. It knows only the consequence. Whatever happens, the body will react to it. Please be careful with religious fasting. Include the rules what I have told here for religious fasting. It can help you. But don't include whatever religious have told, especially wrong understanding, into therapeutic fasting. It's not going to help you. Okay. In Islam, Prophet Muhammad told to be on fasting during Ramzan, and what to eat and when to eat. Before sunrise, soak some dates in water previous day night, and before the sunrise, consume that water and do the fasting throughout the day. After sunset, similar dates soaked water you can consume. This is what Prophet Muhammad has told. What do people do now? People just changed it. 40 days lentil fasting. How many of them are doing properly as per what Jesus was doing, or what was his recommendation? Jains also have fasting. They have a fasting for 7 years because one of their guru did fasting for 3.5 years continuously, waiting for somebody. Because it is not practical for everybody, what they do is they do alternate days fasting. So today they eat, tomorrow they fast, day after tomorrow they eat. So they alternately do this for 7 years. which technically counts to 3.5 years. But this 7 years, what you eat in between fasting decides your life after the 7 years. Please keep in mind. See, your God has told fasting because all the religious monks know nature more than what you have studied in your school. They know the metamorphosis. They know they can undergo this metamorphosis. And so they have told the fasting. But the purpose, the method, what they told, every religious person has changed because mentally human beings are weaker. We told fasting to make you better, but what people do, people compromise it to, they bring it down to their weakness. Every religion you go and see, this is happening. This is happening in all the religions. Definitely we have seen wrong things and bad things happening in the body medically. Please don't involve in that kind of fasting and create a bad name for your religious fasting. Do it properly, do with these rules. Your religious achievements will be much, much greater. In fact, if you follow your religion as per the text properly, you will not fall sick. Any religion for that matter. Okay. Okay, fine. So we have crossed a lot of time after this 1 hour. Any more doubts? If anything is there, please.
Sir, Kritika here again.
Yes, madam.
I've heard people on fasting day வெறும் துளசி தண்ணி மாத்திரம் குடிச்சிட்டு இருப்பாங்க. So what
Huh.
is your
Yeah, that is a
take
good
on
method. See, tulasi water, what it'll do, or even the water from a copper vessel, what they do, they give you some kind of metabolic alteration where your hunger is not too high. You know, you can overcome your hunger easily. This can happen, and this worked for those days because those days the food, cooked food, what they ate were not having much chemicals. It was not decaying, it was not degenerating, it was not fermenting. People who do fasting those days don't eat fermented food. See, idli is not a natural normal food, it's a luxurious food. It should be had only twice or thrice in a year. So when you have all this unwanted or unnatural, so much processed food inside your body, these things will not help you better. For those days condition where the food was minimal, it helps very well. Currently, even to start your religious fasting in the way it is prescribed, undergo some therapeutic fasting like how I've explained, of course in a very basic way, but with these concepts, you know, treat your body, become better, become healthier, then your body can handle anything, right? So the purpose why those kind of things were told is all for a smooth fasting and a better achievement. See, just water may not create some good effect, like the tulsi water can help you withhold hunger for a long time. Of course, it can also create, see, when you eat tulsi or pudina or any green leaf, it goes inside, cleanses your intestine, creates more hunger. But tulsi water, they used to have in copper vessel or a silver vessel. It's not just tulsi water. The property of these vessels and the tulsi combined, they reduce the hunger. They reduce the movement inside the GIT. So this is what I have understood till now for my search. It's not a complete search, so maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I've understood. I think that is the reason.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. And please remember, fruits are offered to God. God will never tell you wrong if you consume fruits or juices or honey or water. God will never tell your fasting is wrong. Please trust me. If you really have a lot of connection with your God, talk to Him and understand. With all the fasting what you did till now, you should be able to talk to God. He will definitely tell you whatever I'm saying about fruits will be right. God will not be angry if you eat fruits, fruit juices, water, honey. Definitely. And okay, so let us close the session for today. Thank you so much for your patient listening, and please share the news. This video will be live today at night 7 p.m. Share with your friends and family. And if you're watching this on YouTube, like the video, comment what is your question or what you learned new today, and share, subscribe. Thank you so much for your patient listening, and happy learning, Nature Cure.